You are now listening to Broken Line Podcast, presented by Fish Addictions TV. Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bobber, Eskimo Ice Fishing Gear, 13 Fishing, Striker Ice, Coles Resort of Bemidji, Minnesota, Aaron Eichhorst Photography.
Unique New York.
Unique New York. Action.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
This is it, kids.
Number one.
This is it.
We've officially
Season
made
one.
it through one season.
Yeah.
It's good. It's fun. And so basically, yeah, we're moving into season 2. And we're going to have a bunch of more guests. And, we already talked in the last one about the clothing, the stickers, and all that good stuff. And more guests and giveaways.
Resort season's coming to an end.
Yep.
So we're going to have more opportunity for me and you to sit down one evening, finish hammering out the fonts and stuff for these logos, these new logos.
Mm-hmm.
Get a general consensus, if we can, on what we want for clothing.
Yep.
I know you want a 3-piece suit, and I want a man thong. But
I want,
we'll find the middle ground somewhere.
You know, like the jumpsuits, the one-piece jumpsuits.
Yes.
Or the what you go to bed in, like a Snuggie, but one piece.
Footy pajamas.
Yeah, footy pajamas for adults.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah,
I mean, the possibilities are endless, but we'll cover that some other time.
Absolutely. So
I like throwing that empty promise out there. I just, it just keeps people alive.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, sweatshirts, hoodies.
Kind of much like my life, that I'll be a millionaire. It's an empty promise, but it keeps me going.
Absolutely.
That's the way you got to look at it, guys.
Stay positive.
I know you all want hats and stickers and shirts and hoodies and scarves and mittens and all that stuff, but just hold on to the empty promise because it'll keep you going.
Absolutely. I mean, it's positive. You're just staying positive about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're rolling. This
true.
is our very last and final episode of season 1. We've officially made it a full year. We did have a couple mini breaks within the time period, but we still hit well over 40 episodes.
Yeah. And we had some, as we were trying to find our way, because this is podcast 37.
37, I believe.
But
there's the 0.5, a couple
there's
0.5s.
0.5s, and
So
there's just some Fish Addiction stuff that we didn't number. And
then there's some Broken Spatula, even though it's not connected. All together as a group of what we do, well over 40, probably right around the 50 mark of episodes within the season, and I'm proud of that. I think I am too. We killed it. And do you want to release the good news on one application, podcast? You can listen to it, YouTube, which it's not a podcast, right, at that point, but you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and so many more, like 15 other applications, right?
Just about anywhere you can get podcasts.
Yep. And on one application, we did what for 1 year?
We had, was it 105,000 downloads?
100 and some thousand. I don't know. We'll just say 100,000, but it was over that.
I remember it was 105,000.
105,000, and that was as of a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I
so
think.
100 and some thousand listens, views, downloads on one application.
On SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud alone. And that doesn't include our iTunes, our Google Play, our YouTube. I know our YouTube stuff is smaller because, of course, you have to watch an hour and something.
2 people sit there and talk for an hour.
Yeah. So 100 some thousand in one season, first season.
First season and one application
out of 18, 20 ways to listen to us.
That's what's frustrating for me is I like the data, but trying to find all this data from all these different places.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there that's listening that has a podcast that's been doing this for a while, and you collect your data, send me a message, send Aaron a message, send the Broken Line.
We should talk to Clay over at Fish Nerds. Which he's going to be on our show too, and I want to. I bet you he would know, because isn't there the apps like Blueberry and stuff where you can it slightly tries to gather.
Right. I'm all about accuracy and precision. You know?
Yeah. When there's 20 different ways to listen to us, it's really hard to collect all that data to give it to anyone who possibly wants it. United States is our top viewership.
Right.
100,000 on the one application. Right. I definitely could get the YouTube analytics, but the YouTube stuff's so minimal, it's just extra bonus stuff. But I don't know what... I know the iTunes podcast app, they just came out with the beta podcast, so you could slightly see analytics, but not perfect.
Right.
So we're just basing our show off of a little bit of information.
Just a little bit.
And from what we've found after season 1, which this is the final episode of the season, before this one even airs and we collect this data off this episode, we're over 100,000. I mean,
thank you.
First season, I mean, that's awesome. I couldn't have asked for anything better. I mean,
when I birthed this idea several years ago, and then we had our moment down at our place.
The other place.
The other place, yes. And
not that place, the other place.
I went into it. Yeah, oh yeah. It local tavern.
Local establishment.
Yeah.
And
I never went into it with like, oh, I want to reach this many people or that. I just wanted to do it. You know?
Yeah. It was just a fun,
like one of those
idea.
life bucket list things. Ever since I discovered podcasts, I don't know how many years ago, I was like, I always wanted to do one because anybody can do them.
Did we ever talk about the original idea with?
No, we haven't.
We haven't done that?
No.
So the original idea was with one of our buddies who's been on this podcast.
Right.
And it was like the in between two ferns type feel.
It was going to be a parody of that. And we were...
And I tell you what, it's still a great idea.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
It was... was it Between the Cooler or...
No, it was called The Live Well, wasn't it? Or no, not The Live Well. Sorry. That's
Andy.
Our buddies, yeah. It was some weird, like... So basically it was a cooler.
Was it Around the Cooler?
Something like that.
But it was loosely based off Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
And it was going to be me and Jason sitting in old ratty lawn chairs with a cooler of beer.
In between
and you were just going to film.
And I was going to do the production of it.
And we were just going to drink beer and talk about stuff.
Talk about life, fishing, everything.
Whatever. Yeah.
And I don't know why it didn't come about. I think it was day after day and conversation after conversation and trying to get Jason on board with his busy schedule, and then we were gonna do some stuff with Matt Brewer included in that, and then finally I think I just came to you and said, I bought it all.
Well, I kept bugging you. We were just sitting there at the local establishment and having a barley pop and and I said, you know what, dude. You know what? I think we should just go podcast route. I want to do a podcast. Something called like The Broken Line or something.
I think that you had another name first, and then it came about on The Broken Line.
And you were sitting there, and I thought you were texting Haley.
Oh, I was buying the stuff.
And then you're like, "We're doing it." I'm like, "Cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I just got the stuff." I'm like, "Oh,
Amazon Prime, by the way."
Okay, all right. And then we were both just like little kids from before Christmas. Then you're like, the stuff's here. Zing, right up here.
Boxes of stuff, too.
And I still have I look back at the picture of the very first, beginning.
Right up.
There's no foam on the walls.
Oh, yeah, when we had that little rinky-dink table. So if you didn't know by now, 9 minutes in, we're doing this podcast is going to be a look back on how we got started.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Memories.
We just went.
Fun memories of the whole season. It's just going to be us having fun, random conversations. Right. And then the next episode is going to be the start of season 2, which will probably start with a guest.
Yeah.
Yep. And Dylan Nussbaum is one of the people that I'm talking to. He's coming up to Lake of the Woods for the NWT. And he's already planned it into his Pennsylvania drive.
Wow.
To stop here. So
that's cool.
We have to plan that out. Chip Lear is already on board for the end of this month.
I know.
So, we'll start out season 2 with some.
We still have
some peeps.
Yeah, we still have S&S Bait Company, and Northwoods Bait and Tackle. We got a list, laundry list, but
Jason Durham. The list goes on and on. So we got a bunch of stuff, awesome stuff coming for season 2. But no spoiler alerts. We won't get to that. No. We're recapping this year, and just having fun.
So where we left off was we had this little ratty table that came out from here that you built after a few cocktails. And we sat down. It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
And we did one. We didn't even really know what we were doing. And we're just like, that was really fun. You want to do another one? Sure. We ended up recording the first 3 podcasts. On that Saturday.
In one day.
And
it was just so much content rolling. We're like, let's just keep rolling.
And the craziest part for me was I realized that what's an hour and a half real time feels like about 7 minutes.
10 minutes or so.
You know.
But it's a good thing about us filming it is that when was the last time you clicked up episode 1? Just to see what we looked like? I
haven't.
I mean, okay, do it one of these times. Click on episode. I mean, we have the particle board in the back. We're low on tables. Some of our podcasts, the guest didn't even get a chair, or I didn't have a chair.
We didn't have a chair for him. I think Crafty was one that stood.
Rylander was a stander.
Yeah.
So I mean, just looking back on how far we've came in exactly 1 year on a whimp of sitting around a establishment like a bar or a restaurant, and coming up with a few ideas that we thought would be fun to do. And since podcasts, especially in the outdoor industry, up by us, weren't really a thing, and starting one on a whim, like just buying the stuff on Amazon, and we're like, is this what we need? I don't know. Is this what we need? I don't know. Yeah. This original box I got for the mics, originally I got a two outlet one. Then we upgraded to a 4, so now we can have 4 mics. We started out with only 2 mics. Then we got the 3rd mic. Then we got the 4th mic. Then we got the first chair. Then we got the 2nd chair. Then we
built
got the
this
3rd.
Badass table.
Oh, man.
Well,
the 4th chair's not even put together yet, right?
Right.
Next to you, there's no chair there, is there?
Negative.
It's sitting in the box outside the door there, and all we have to do is take the 5 minutes to put together. So, and then like we talked about in the last podcast, we then took the foam, and then we did the barnwood style look, pallet board type feel around the room. This back wall still has to be done, so we're just taking it like true fishermen and outdoorsmen, just step by step.
You know what,
day
though?
by day.
If we tried to do it all in one weekend, it to me would look too planned out. I like that whole, let's just toss a grenade in the room and see what happens. Oh yeah, it looks good.
Well, then we did concepts of halfway through the season. It was still wintertime. We were doing, what should the bar or what should the table, the physical table look like?
What would be the best shape?
Yeah,
for us to talk to guests and film, and
let's go to get the wood and then plane the wood and then build it. Yeah. And it's not 100% complete, but I like it. And I think in the end it might end up being bigger, and we could add another 2 mics, and we could have 6 people in here.
We've talked, we've dreamt. Every once in a while, because I live right downtown, every once in a while I'll shoot Aaron a little something like, hey, here's a storefront for rent.
Do you want to do
right it? Below my apartment.
Yeah, that's it's the stuff that.
But you never know
where it came from.
But I don't think I ever want to leave Hilltop, man. Every guest that we've had here was like, "What in the heck? This is pretty cool."
Yeah, well, they come up to it and they're like, "What is this?" And then they get in there like, "All right, I'm digging this. I'm digging this feel." You come, and for anyone who obviously listens and like watching or listening to our show is. The vibe that's in this place is kind of like that green room concert feel. And I don't know if anyone knows what a green room is, but at a concert, the person going on stage, whatever location they're at, a big coliseum or whatever, they always have a green room full of drinks, stocked with food, etc.
Green M&Ms.
There's been plenty of times where we've had like a little cooler up here with some drinks, and it's just the green room feel, and it's got a good vibe to it. And like Sam Moore put when he was on here, he's like, I really am digging this whole concept because he didn't really know what it was coming into it. And then when he got here, he's like, you guys got something, and I think word for word was something special here.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Everybody who's left here, has always said, man, that was fun.
And it happened so quick. You do an hour and a half, and hour and 45 minutes felt like 10.
Well, remember when we had Mike in here?
Yeah.
From Fish Addictions, and he in his mind, it was, 30 minutes. We get done, like, yeah, that was an hour and 20 minutes. What?
Yeah, he's like, one negative,
Really?
When we first started out, he was one of the first guests, and he's like, yeah, negative feel would be, I think you guys are a bit too long. I'm like, all right. So he come in here, sit down, rocked out, and I was like, you know how long we've been going? Like hour and 45 minutes. He's like, no way, man. It's so easy to just ramble about any topics. And
well, it's just like when you go to the bait shop.
Yeah.
I'm going in and out for leeches, and 40 minutes later, man, I'm late. That's to me this. It's the green room feel. I get that too, but for me, it always has felt like it's a little fort, like it's a little club.
Yeah.
Like, come on in. You got the invite. You found your way up here through the goat road.
The door's open.
Which even the road needed to be worked on. You had to widen it out.
Yeah.
In order to get your truck up here.
Widen the road, build the road, and it's kind of like a secret passageway up here, and it's fun. We have people pull their big rig trucks up here, logoed up, full of logos, and they're like fishermen that are in tournaments or whatever they're doing, and they're like, all right, am I getting stabbed at this? What's happening? They pull up, and we got a smile on their face, handshakes, and then we're like, welcome to the studio, Hilltop, baby, and like, let's do this.
Get in the dungeon, let's do it.
And then we sit down, and so it's been a fun roller coaster of a year, everything from some of the fish addictions. I mean, we've had 8 guys in here swapping back and forth, telling stories about episodes or about this or about that. We did the chip challenge with Brian Cons where he ate that fire chip, which, by the way, sucked. And I don't know how it didn't suck for him, but I mean, we've just had a lot of fun in here.
I think the chip challenge, first off, hats off to Brian. Because if he held it in...
He doesn't have a proper gut system.
Well, we know that from sharing rooms with that cat. But if he held back just for the sake of manliness, double handshake. That was tough. I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, he definitely showed no expression about the chip. But I had a little crumb. You had a little powder crumb.
Yeah.
It sucked. It did. It sucked. I don't want to even see the whole chip. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, we've had tons of guests in here, tons of different people, tons of stories have been shared, from DNR stuff to fish nerdiness to people working up in high up companies like 13 or Acme. It's been an awesome time. We still have people today messaging us on Facebook and going, absolutely love your show. I have a lot of binge watching to do because I'm only on episode 11. I'm like, oh, that's good, because if you do jump in and you're like, all right, episode 36, first time I'm listening to them. Well, I like them? Do I yes? Start from the beginning. Work your way up. I promise you'll have do one a week, or take a long road trip, or go to work or whatever. Plug those headphones in. There's a lot of fun topics to talk about.
For me personally, I get the most feedback on 6 and 6.5.
Yeah,
there was a little change there, 6, and then 7 was different from 6.5 and 6. But the feedback I get is like, dude, there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, I totally hear you.
I'll just be honest. I had a few beers that day with our friend Bob.
It's one of those things, that bar and bait shop feel is what the podcast is.
It was more bar that day.
That night, more bar than bait shop.
That was a turning point for me where I was like, you know what, maybe not dive into the barley pops so much, But I've had an absolute blast.
It's been a fun time. I mean, like I said, right around, I think, that 50 mark of episodes, from the Broken Spatula to the Fish Addictions ones to the 0.5s, and then just the normal number ones, to as many guests as we've had come through the door, to just sitting down, you and me, and chatting about fishing, hunting. Of course, we're getting into hunting season in fall, so we're going to get back into some of that stuff. Yeah, bear baiting has started, and we're going to get right into some of that fun stuff. We've already had people asking us to bring back people. Hey, bring back Rylander, bring back Brewer, bring back, everyone, really. And I'm like, we'll mingle some people in, but we got a long list of new people, and I'm excited about that. I'm going
to call them out right now. Tim Furch.
Tim Furch.
He'll get in here.
Yeah, Tim, good old Timmy.
Even if he looks like a cat on a screen door. I'm not going in.
We'll force him in here.
Right.
He actually brought a buddy, or one of his buddies, which is a college kid here in town, and he sat me down, and they were picking my brain on videography and photography and getting into the outdoor industry, and we talked for an hour and a half. And I looked back at both of them right before they left, and I said, this should have been a podcast.
Right.
And that's why one of these upcoming podcasts here, I really want to dive into outdoor videography and photography, even though we've had a few talks in the last...
I'd like to see you get deeper in it.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Like I want to talk about your application that you use on your iPad. I want to talk about physical computer applications that I use for videography, some tips and tricks to GoPros, to physical cameras, to DSLRs, to photo apps on your phone,
get in there deep,
etc. And I want to dig into that because the way the world is today, everyone's using their phones and everyone's trying. And like we just did the podcast before on vlogs and YouTube videos and stuff like that. And I think the way the world's going, a lot of people are excited about trying to get really deep into that. Yeah. Although we talk about fishing and hunting and we have a bunch of other awesome topics planned, we have done one or two of those, and I want to hit another one or two just because. Every season we can come back to some of this stuff because guess what? Season 1, when I talked about my list of photo apps, I already got a couple more. So,
right.
And that was probably before the LumaFusion time when I talked about it with our staff over at Fish Addictions. So, and now you've got to mess with that, and I haven't. I had it on my phone. I did a few things, and then I was like, I like this. So that's that's a thing you can talk about for sure, and that's just something I do want to eventually get into.
And it's totally pertinent. Every fisherman outdoorsman I know has a smartphone.
Yeah.
I mean, and apps are always updating and changing, and there's new ones, and it's a constant, nonstop thing.
Absolutely. So Fish Addictions was just up in Lake of the Woods, and they did a Hunters Helping Heroes episode. This will be the 6th year, and the fish were on fire.
That's what I saw.
See some of them photos? I didn't make it up because I was busy here at the resort and babysitter stuff with Oliver. But they put on a feed bag up there. So anyone listening up in the Lake of the Woods, now's the time because it was awesome. And, of course, in 2 weeks, after this airs, a week or so, week and a half, is the Cabela's NWT Championship up on Lake of the Woods. It's 3 days long, and that's exciting because we'll be up there. I'll be up there.
I might tag along with you.
Should come up, come up and hang out. Might as well. There's room, so what the heck?
Yeah.
Jumping back to a couple previous tournaments here in the last week or so, Mike and who was his partner? Do you know who Mike's partner was?
I'm embarrassed to say, but I do not know.
So Mike was just up in Lake of the Woods, and they just did a tournament 2 weeks ago or so, and
that one, that was Ross.
Yep.
Ross.
Yep, and they took what place did they take? Fourth place.
Last year they won it.
And that was the Warrior Ride.
Yep.
So they took 4th place in that, and then Will and Nick just did the AIM, and a couple weeks ago they won AIM at whatever location,
Leech Lake.
And now they just took 10th place, but they also took Team of the Year.
By 3/4 pound.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So a little bit of updates on some Fish Addiction stuff that's happening. Obviously, from the last podcast, I said, well, with the weather, how's fishing been? Fishing's been good. Especially getting
anyway. Now. I mean, I've been trying to do my thing and struggling. I went up to fish Sheep's Head and 0. Yeah.
And you got... Crafty out there getting some.
I got Crafty on the bullheads. He had a great time. He's like, dude, that is so fun.
So when I was at Lake of the Woods thing, and I was busy at the resort, Andrew Kraft's dad came in, and his brother, and his mom, and I look over at him, and I was double took. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, you must be Aaron. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, I'm Andrew's dad. And I was like, Kraft? He's like, yeah. And I look at him, I'm like, yeah, you do look like him. And then I look over at his brother, and I'm like, Andrew Kraft with a beard. What's up? Right. They had this big beard thing. Yep. And, he's like, yeah, they've been having a fun time. He's been having a fun time on those bullheads. And I'm like, yeah. You know, it's the fun thing about open water summer season is there's so many other different animals to go after. And so many, you know, in the wintertime, we're stuck on a few things. But in summer, you know, just from the bears to, you know, turkey hunting to, you know, there's so many different other options.
It's at the end of the day, man, it's all fun.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the Broken Line represents. You know, sometimes we talk about movies because those are fun. You know, I'll be honest, I don't fish every day as much as I'd like to. There's just days where I'm like, you know what, dude? It's Master Chef time.
I just saw the movie Tag.
Ooh.
Yep. And Action Point, the one with Johnny Knoxville. Tag was good. It definitely had a weird feel and then a really good / weird ending. So the movie's based on here. We're breaking the line. We're just talking about Tag here. The movie's based on like 4, 5, 6 friends somewhere in there, childhood friends. One of them in 30 years has never been tagged.
Yeah,
and they play once a year, and that's the month of May. The whole month of May is when it's game on for tag.
Right.
And they live in different towns, and they'll fly to each other's towns, and they'll wear like grandma suits, and they'll disguise themselves just so they can, and they're into it. Like they'll fall on cars and like break glasses and, you know, like do weird stuff, like fake life stories. And I don't want to spoil it for you watching, but I'll just say fake life stories just for the heart of the game.
That's awesome.
And then it ends with a weird, loving finish that was well deserved.
Okay.
And then they show video cell phone clips of the original like 12 people that have been playing for 25 years, and they're real life people.
Yeah, and they're all still alive, and they were actually part of the production team.
Because you have to get the real vibe feel of what they do. And they show shots of them all over the country doing cell phone footage of them playing tag. And so yes, I enjoyed it, and I definitely watch it again. Then I saw Action Point with Johnny Knoxville, and that one is where he owns the amusement park. That is like a Jackass type park, right?
Travis Pastrana type stuff.
Yeah, no rules, no laws, but it's an actual movie, just like Bad Grandpa type thing.
Yeah,
and so they incorporate real Jackass stunts into it. And I wasn't super impressed with that one. But I had so much potential, and I just don't know if I wasn't feeling it. Maybe I'll have to watch it again to get that vibe, but I just wasn't feeling it at that time. So, you know,
I binged season 3 of Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, I still have not watched all of Rick and Morty.
I love that show. It's amazing.
I do have a movie I want to watch.
Oh, I do too.
Ocean's 8 came out. I kind of want to watch that. But the movie is called American Animals. And it's based on these college, high school kids that plan to steal the world's most expensive painting, and it's in their library. And you'll have to watch the trailer for it. So anyway, it's just new in network. It's new. It just came out. It's on iTunes.
Well, I might hit this week if it's still in the theater. I want to go see Meg.
That shark looking thing.
The Meg, being I love fishing, and I'll go on record right here on the internet that I believe Megalodon. There's a Megalodon out there.
I
totally
there's a lot
buy
of
into
creatures
it.
out there that I know is out there.
Here's the deal. It is way safer and way easier for us to explore space than our ocean. That's how violent our ocean is. After it gets down deep, like we don't even have the technology to get to the bottom of the ocean, like the Marianas Trench. It'll literally kill us halfway down. But we can go into space pretty easy. So I really think there is a Megalodon. I watch all those YouTube, like I'll get in those YouTube rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, where you click on one, next thing you know, it tells you another one you watch.
And some of the stuff that I've seen, well, a lot of the stuff I've seen, I'm like, it's just a shark fin. I don't know whether it's Megalodon. Then there's some footage out there you're like, perhaps.
Hold up.
Perhaps. Kind of looks like a whale shark. Kind of doesn't. I don't know. But, I totally buy into it. So I want to see Meg.
I need to watch a few more trailers on it to see if it piques my interest.
You just got to go into it's a shark movie.
Yeah.
And
so the last shark movie that came out had no interest to me. And it was the one where the one of the main actors is a main actor girl when she's surfing and she gets stuck on like a rock, and she's stuck there like the whole movie. And I'm just like, no, I'm okay.
Okay.
How about a helicopter coming in with a rope and picking her up? End of movie. I mean, I don't know.
And we can argue that too, because like I love Lord of the Rings, but like why did they walk when Gandalf could have just said, "Hey, giant eagles, fly us over to Mordor, throw the ring in, I'll be back."
Because there wouldn't be a movie at that
point. It'd be like
a
35-minute movie. It would have sucked, but I've seen people like, dude, why didn't you just take the eagles the whole time? I get it, but it's not part of the journey.
That's true, and there wouldn't be a movie.
And you don't learn any cool, old, hard-ass wizard lessons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. But I got a mini topic for you here before we get into what was your favorite thing about season 1. What was your favorite person you had in here? What do you take on the state of emergency in Florida with this red tide? Or have you not seen any of that
I have not heard of this.
So
please enlighten me.
Yeah,
what's the red tide?
Let's Google up. So they're in Florida's in a state of emergency. Now we're doing this. This is based on our fish, right? So we're talking about fishing here in most cases. So, so let's just bring it up here on Google. So basically, Florida red tide update as of a day ago. The county collects 150 tons of dead fish, from manatees to sharks to dolphins to fish to everything. So they declare a red tide state of emergency. Now, what is red tide? It's some toxic tide, and it's literally red. Now, I know nothing about this topic. I just kind of
is it some sort of like saltwater algae bloom type thing?
Sea turtles, manatees, millions of fish. It says I don't know, but hopefully maybe it comes out here. So, unusual severe red tide outbreak. So I can Google what red tide is, and so red tide is a burst of algae growth in the ocean that can kill marine wildlife and negatively affect humans. Beaches are shut down, businesses are temporarily closed, and Floridians wonder when it will end.
Wow. Well, I did call it. I said it was some sort of saltwater algae bloom. Here's the way I think about it. To me, it sounds like nature resetting itself. You know what I'm saying?
Here's a sad thing. At least 400 stranded and dead sea turtles have been found since bloom conditions began in November, as well as manatees and a 26-foot whale shark, as well as other things.
I mean, it sucks, but
most humans can swim in the red tide, but it causes skin irritation, burning eyes. Inhaling the red tide toxins can lead to coughing, sneezing, teary eye, though these symptoms are typically temporary.
Yeah.
I mean, Well, with the whole thing with the way the world is, and you got the global warming people out there, and the volcanoes over in Hawaii, and you have the smoke and the fires in California and up in Canada,
which we've been dealing with.
Yeah, we've had smoky, hazy days here for weeks.
Yeah,
and you just think of all the stuff that nature's doing. Now the fires, is here or nay on people or actual.
I don't know about the ones in Canada. A good percentage of the ones in California, from what I understand, are set by human
people. But I mean, with how everything
the places where they're burning where it's burning in Canada, there's not a whole lot of people there.
Well, it's Canada,
right? But I mean, maybe I just take a too simple approach to it, but it's nature.
Yeah.
Nature's
being nature. Now, yeah, but did this have anything to do with human interaction to the ozone layer, to this, to that? You know what I'm saying? So. Like, there's the people that are going to say
it's the first time in my life I've ever heard of a red tide.
Yeah.
It's
an algae bloom so critical that so many fish are dying that it's...
I don't know.
I mean, obviously it's affecting Florida. It's affecting other states around the area. How is it affecting the salt life, the salt fishermen? How is it affecting food for people from the fishermen collecting food to sell to restaurants?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, there for sure, without a doubt, there's a domino effect. But like I said, maybe I look at things through a simple lens. Like,
I like the idea that you said maybe it's nature resetting itself.
Yeah,
it's like a cleanse, right? When humans go through cleanses to get rid of the toxins, that might be the ocean saying, you know what, we're huge, we're big, we're an ocean, it's time to clean.
I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I hate the word in itself because it's ripped through my family on my mother's side a lot. But like, if we don't have cancer, then what else are we going to get to thin our own population? Because we, as a species, as part of the ecosystem of Earth, we can't.
Well, we'll have
to die.
We'll have the government that will help clean us out.
Here we go. But you know what I'm saying?
Here it comes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, I get it.
We just,
How do you see us in 10 years with the whole global warming thing, or this or that? Do you think we'll have problems here in the freshwater? Do you think?
Absolutely.
Things will happen, but how do you think we will be in 10 years?
My home lake. There was just, I need to reach out to Scott Mackintoon. There's literally tens of thousands of freshwater jellyfish.
What?
Yep.
Gross. I mean, I've heard of them, but
my buddy,
in Minnesota?
In Minnesota on my home lake, big sturgeon.
I will not swim there then.
And my buddy caught a couple of years ago.
Do they sting?
No, he was holding them in his hand, and he was like, what in the heck? And then I just saw a video last week or over the weekend, like literally hundreds of these things swimming around. They're kind of clearish.
Northern Minnesota freshwater jellyfish.
It's a jellyfish.
That's unreal.
I
have people here at the
definitely a change because growing up, I mean, I used to swim in that lake. I fished in the lake. I mean, it's my hometown.
I have people here at the resort where they say, is there any leeches that will get us in the lake? Is there any bad stuff in this lake? And now I can tell them, yeah, we have a few leeches, but guess what? We don't have jellyfish like the neighboring lake over 2 hours. Like,
right.
That's
and I don't know
weird.
What they are. I'm going to do a little research on it myself, but that was something that was never there when I was a kid, unless I didn't know.
So how do you think a disease, something formed this, or someone put something in there, or you just whatever?
I don't even know if it was human. It could have been there the whole time, and they just had the perfect summer where their numbers increased. I don't know.
Well, if anyone knows anything about northern Minnesota
freshwater jellyfish, they're not very big. They're about the size of a ping pong ball.
Send us a message, and I'm definitely, when we get done with this, I'm going to start Googling.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to
right now.
If you wanted to take a little road trip, if you had time this weekend
to
Side Lake.
Oh yeah, we need to do that. I need to do another vlog. So
right, but yeah, I mean, global warming. Yeah, we have some blame for that. Some, not all. You know,
what the heck?
I'm
just looking at them right now. They say they're harmless, but they are little clear ones.
They're kind of clear. They got a little bit of like brown or green in their legs. They only have like, they're kind of wide legs, aren't they?
Yeah, there's some brown and clear tint. There's just a story I'm reading from Duluth.
Yep.
Jellyfish spotted in Minnesota.
Yep.
That was 2012.
Yeah.
Woodbury Bulletin all the way dating back to 2006. Yeah. I guess I just didn't know that we had freshwater jellyfish here, so that's cool, I guess.
I'm always going to lean towards the hand of science, you know, like, yeah, there's stuff that we as humans do that impact, you know, our environment, obviously. I also think, too, that, you know, that's just the earth. Yeah. You know, going through an ice age, you know, things change. Yeah. I mean, we've had some really, really warm winters. We've also had some really brutal winters in the last 5-6 years.
This is true, yeah.
You know, so, I mean, I don't know. I can go crazy thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's why you just live your life day by day and just chill, relax. And
you know, I do my part, which in my head I think I'm doing right, and then I just go about my day. Mm-hmm. I build fish houses, by the way, and it's not going to ever stop.
So, there you go. What the heck? So,
speak of, we're going to have a couple of high school bass fishermen in here that won their conference championship.
When are we doing that?
It will be the Friday before Labor Day weekend. So coming up pretty quick.
What's the date?
Oh, let me pull out the wizard box here.
Pull that up because I got different random stuff. So we gotta,
all right, let me just
pull up your wizard box here. But so season 1 recap.
August 31st. I'm going to find out all the details tomorrow if it's a for sure thing, but so far it's a go. They're coming up from Hutchinson.
Yep, I should be free.
All right, cool. So that'll be really cool, man.
We've set that
championships.
We've set that calendar straight.
Boom, nailed it.
Dropping into season 1 here. Who was your favorite? Who was your? I'm sorry if this episode bores people. We're just recapping and we're getting into the next season here, but I want to know who was your favorite guest? And that's a hard one, right? Because I mean,
I've had a blast.
They're all good. Of them. But has there been any specific topics or anything related to any that you love?
I think that if you weren't filming this podcast, me and myself and Scott, you would have probably bowed out, but Scott and I could have probably done like a 6-hour podcast. Oh, Scott Mockin too.
Yeah, I liked Bob's because Bob's was nerdy, fish nerdy. Yeah. And but honestly, yeah, it's a hard thing.
That's a hard question.
I've enjoyed everyone because everyone has came in here with different topics and different minds, from resume building with Acme Tackle and getting sponsorships to 13 fishing stuff to DNR
and it's
stuff.
Been so fun, you know,
to trapping to all. I mean, there's been so many different topics. It's been a fun ride, and like I said, if anyone's missed them all, I definitely jump in and back, listen to them all because
you don't have to. You don't have to listen to us in chronological order, so to speak.
Yeah, none of the episodes technically are in order in most cases, but if you start from one, you just can initially go through.
We're a society of binge watching and listening, so just start with number 1. I mean, let's get real. Yeah. That's what I do.
Absolutely.
But I would say Scott one. Scott was a great. That was a good one for me, just because I wish I could have recorded our conversations before the podcast. Like, we went fishing that day and did the podcast, went fishing the next day, and like it was not. We were up till like 2:30, almost 3 o'clock each morning, just talking fish biology.
There was the guy in the Liars Lounge a couple days ago, and he was talking with you. That was like, hold up, let's just stick a microphone here.
Well, I even said to the guy, I said, hey, we if we'd had a microphone, we just did a podcast. Oh, really?
It's crazy that in most cases when two or more people get around and they start talking about subjects in the fishing, the outdoor, the hunting industry, next time you're with your buddies and doing that, just think about how it would be if other people could listen to your conversations. I mean, you almost go into it a little bit different, but at the same time, you're still just like BS and back and forth.
And that's something I've been wanting to talk to you about. Like, it'd be really fun just to, hit the record button on my phone. If I know it's all about quality, but like, get into these conversations, and then when it's done, just be like, hit stop and be like, okay, you just did a podcast you didn't even know.
Yeah.
Is that cool with you? Sign this piece of paper. Cool. Just nailed an episode.
What we need to do is just figure out how to get some of this stuff mobile.
Well, and I was going to bring that point up next.
Well,
I'm working on that, actually. There's going to be some talking tomorrow. I got to talk to a certain somebody. I'm not going to say any names right now, but I've already planted the seed, and it's starting to grow a little bit.
It would be fun to take this mobile on the road for a little bit and collect some people.
I mean, we're starting to get into the ice fishing show season.
Yeah.
And what a perfect time to have that mobile studio.
If we could have brought it to the Cabela's NWT and just got some people, or show season down in Minneapolis.
Do you remember the possibilities are endless?
Do you remember this last season? Us taking we did a mobile podcast while driving
so fun,
to Wisconsin,
and that's coming up
while eating donuts.
Yep,
October 25th
and we
26th.
Saw Flocka in action.
Flocka and Bemidji. Yep,
and that was so fun. And
maybe we'll do that again.
Pro Day is coming up, and I already texted Mike like during the meeting. Yeah, just when he said, let me know, if you're coming to Pro Day. While he was in the meeting, I'm probably riding with Aaron.
Yeah, we could do another podcast while we're.
Me and you road trip. Or
we could do we should do some hotel ones too, where we, if we can steal some of the guys and do one from the hotel room,
the bar,
or the bar. So
that's the name of the place.
The bar.
Remember?
Yeah,
I do. We got to go back there.
You have that cool fill tap situation where you take the beer can and you put it up and
that was Adventures. I'm talking where we went.
The bar, yeah.
That little hole in the wall where like our tabs are written on Post-it notes. I don't know how.
They had the music going in the back.
Yeah, we had a great time.
It was a good time, and then the hockey was on. It just all around.
It was super fun.
We have a lot of fun times on trips and a lot of fun times doing podcasts, and I think that's what the Great Outdoors is all about. Is just people having fun. I mean, if I was doing the road trips by myself, which I do, they suck.
Right.
If I was doing the podcast by myself, it sucks. So doing outdoor stuff together.
I am kind of bummed out that I thought I'd be here for everyone.
The Brett Kane one.
I missed one. And I was like, dude, you got to do it solo, man.
Well, he drove 45 minutes to get here, and I wish he would have been here for that one.
I wanted to. I wanted to meet Brett, and Ellen was sick. And
that's another cool thing is that the original table we have here, not this one, but the original one we had when we first started out this season, every guest has signed
everyone
the old original table, and we're going to cut it down and put it somewhere wherever we can find space. And it can go right over there. And it's like our signing board.
Should have been the door.
Because
it'll always be there.
Yeah, exactly. The signing board. But if we move, we can take it with us. That's the good part. And, I do want to do a shout-out, at the end of Season 1 here. All the generous donations that we've gotten and the generous comments, the generous phone calls, and everything and everyone that's supported the Broken Line podcast has been awesome. From some of our people like Jay giving us, signed photos, to some random fans giving us pictures, to other fans and relatives and stuff like that giving stuff like the
art and
the Broken Line podcast that was all hand drawn out for the entryway at the door,
routed out.
I mean, to all of our people that have donated.
Yes.
All the giveaways and stuff for the fans. all the guests that have came on. I do sincerely want to say thank you. I mean, although we could do 50 some podcasts, just you and me, to be able to incorporate 20, 25 different people a year or less or more, it's awesome because having other people come in, we get a whole nother look at life and a whole nother eye. And I think that's been awesome.
It's been great. And same thing, same heartfelt thank you from me too. I mean, I just going into this, I just thought it'd be me and you and yakking it up. And man, people that have come, like I said, driven 45 minutes, an hour out of their way. And then, it's humbling. And, you get the text messages and the
Facebook messages, the comments.
Hey man, can I get on there? When can I?
Even the people in the middle of the season that were dropping their fishing stories with their photos.
Yeah.
What was that called again? What we were doing?
Grip and Grin.
The Grip and Grin, where they sent us a story, just an average person sending us a fishing story. Yeah, we still have more to go here, rocking into the next season, and I
can promise you for next season I want to have a little more structure, just a little bit. I started outlining our shows, so we got what's going on.
Yeah, keep it in mind that this episode here, ending out the season, we had nothing to talk about besides just random love for the guests, the fans.
Yeah, we just
looking back in the season. But usually, we write up all the topics we're going to talk about, and Patrick's been doing an awesome job of coming up with the great format that we're going to be doing, and the new format coming into this season, having more structure and just labeling everything as is, so we don't have any stumbles or anything like that.
I want it to still be kind of that.
It's raw though.
I want it to be the raw and real, but I also want us to have something, some sort of format to follow along. But I don't want it to be a show, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing this, and then this happens, then this happens. Oh, this is my favorite part. Well, I'm going to have some of that, but it's going to be mixed around every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little more structure.
It's
we're learning. We're still learning.
Yeah. You go through a whole year, and you slowly start finding out different things that people's opinions and different things. And oh my God, I love this or that.
I mean, honestly, can you see what the Broken Line is going to be ever?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm a positive person, so I look to the future.
Just what it's going to be. Because for me, it will always keep growing. It'll always be changing. But it'll always be a podcast. That's one consistent thing.
But I can see it. I know you might not like the answer that I'm saying. I can see it, but I can see where I want it to be.
Oh, I can see that too. But then when you get there, we're going to keep growing from there.
Yeah, but it's still there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's me with photography. 10 years doing photography and outdoor videography for multiple different companies. I'm still learning. We talked about that last episode in the vlogs. I'm constantly learning new stuff.
So, to me,
but that's with everything. Every job you do, everything you have.
And this isn't even a job by no means.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that
we just do this.
This could go as many different directions as possible and still be great.
Yeah.
But in my mind, one consistent thing that it will always be. It will always be our podcast.
Absolutely. And this, to me, we talked about the vlogs, and that being the vlogs for me. It's not for you. Remember when we talked about that? This is completely opposite. This podcast isn't for me, because me and you can go sit at any establishment and we could talk just like this and be fine and be chill and relax and be happy. Yeah. Because we're still confident. This is for the people that actually care to listen and care to talk, and that, I think, is the best part, is that this is not for us. This is for other people, whether they listen, watch, or don't listen or don't watch. And that's the great thing, is that if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. And like we said at the beginning of the season, is that this podcast is like a picnic buffet, right? You go there, And not everything along that buffet line that people bring you're going to like, but there might be a few things.
Yeah, there's always brownies.
Yeah, there's always dessert.
Boom. We're the brownies at the end of the buffet line.
But I mean, some of the stuff we talk about could be the potato salad, some could be the brownies, and you're not going to like everything.
Right.
But it's just us having fun and delivering content for the fans that are out there.
And having conversation and talking about things. And
it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's healthy to talk, and that's the one. Another positive thing we talked in this past season is about physically no one talks anymore. No one. It's all this behind the keyboard, jammer.
Which I've been, I was reflecting the other day about the podcast and like the last, I don't know, 18 podcasts, I'm sure, I've just bashed social media. And I still feel that way, and I probably still, bash a lot of it. There is some positive things, but, I try not to be the negative Nancy. But there's times, and this podcast has been healthy for me because I've been able to vent some of my frustration through this podcast.
Oh,
and it feels
there's been
good.
A few topics that have got you a little bit lit, a little bit fired up.
Yeah,
and I have done the same.
And I just, it feels good to get that out.
And this would almost be the same as if we didn't have the cameras running and we weren't recording, and we just sat here with the headphones on and acted like we were talking, because it's good and healthy for people to express their feelings about certain topics. And since we're so heavily in love with the outdoors, it's good for people to express verbally, not hide behind a keyboard or do anything like that, to physically express with their mouth.
Yeah, it's conversation is a lost art form these days. You can just, like you said, here's my opinion, and then you don't have to respond, you don't have to engage. So imagine talking to somebody like that. Blah, 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 and then you just walk away.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that's weird. You don't want to talk about it. And that's, this has been good that way. I like it.
Yeah, I like to be able to express verbally my opinion and your opinion on topics. Yeah. Sometimes we don't agree. Sometimes we do. Sometimes
we're best
other
friends,
people.
And there's plenty of stuff that we disagree on. And once in a while, we like to talk about that disagreements.
Yeah. And it's healthy, too. I mean, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
So going into season 2 here, the Broken Line podcast, I want to say again, love everyone. Love the sponsors. Keep the message flowing. We'll keep the content rolling. We'll keep the people going, the guests, the giveaways here and there randomly. And we'll just keep the flowing of the love of physical speech. And you know what? It's our God-forgiven right as, a U.S. person to be able to...
God-given, not forgiven.
What did I say?
God-forgiven. It's God-given right.
It's God-forgiven /given/forgiven, given. If we could hit it into a rap real quick.
No.
God. Yeah, you're right. I did say that. Forgiven.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
God-given right.
Yeah.
It is our God-given right as, a United States of America lover person to be able to speak freely, and we should, and everyone should. And it's back in before there was really computers, people talked verbally, and and it's weird because people think, well, a lot of these topics weren't out there back then. It's like they were back then. It's just there wasn't so heavily brought to you by computer and technology.
I would have never heard about the red tide.
Yeah,
had it not been on, I live in northern Minnesota. I'm not going to get a Florida newspaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to get Florida radio.
So it's one of those.
It might have made the national news, but it glanced
it was a state of emergency, so it made national.
Right.
But with all the positive and negative stuff out there, it's good to have a podcast that just does it all. Yeah. So it's just I want to say, as we're kind of wrapping up on 1 hour here of a podcast that was just basically a thank you podcast and a slight recap of the season. If you haven't seen all of our episodes or listened to all of our episodes, I highly recommend you jumping on SoundCloud, iTunes,
I want to say
Play,
this
everything.
Too, because I've been asked this before. Our podcast is free. It's free to listen to.
Yep.
It's free to download. It's free to watch.
Yep.
It'll always be that way.
Yep.
There are very, very few podcasts that you have to pay a subscription to. Very, very few. out of the hundreds and thousands of them. It's free, people. It's free.
We have a fun time delivering
and thank you
everything to you guys. And yeah, season 1 is completely
happy birthday,
wrapped up. Happy birthday. Season 1's a wrap. Season 2, getting right into it. We already have topics: fall, bear, hunting, trapping, fishing, open water fall, getting into ice fishing season. Boom.
We got ice fishing shows there. Yeah. I mean, there isn't enough time in the day.
We have 1, possibly 2 on location podcasts that are coming up. We have at least 5 to 10 guests that are ready to walk through the door any second.
Before we go,
and get more fun stuff to give.
Promise you, we are going to do more Broken Spatula content.
Yes, I actually had that.
About it.
Someone asked me.
Been so crazy busy that things are slowing down now.
Well, Beef asked us or I don't know if you were in the.
You weren't there
at that point. So Beef was in the lounge, which Beef wants to come out, and I absolutely come on. He just says to ask him. So Beef is a guy and he does all kinds of stuff. He's coming too. He looked at me and said, because I was talking to him about walleye wontons and deep fried pickles and stuff like that. And he said, so when are... I don't think you were.
No, I wasn't there. I was thinking.
And he said, so when... My mom walks in right at this moment, and he goes, so when are you and Patrick doing another Broken Spatula? And then my mom giggled and laughed, and then he giggled and was like, ah. He's like, he enjoys it because we like to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we come up with
we
fun
do
stuff.
have a cool plan for our next one.
Yeah.
And so we're definitely going to be bringing the Broken Spatula
because it's fall
back.
time, and if we're talking about the campfire stuff,
yeah,
fall time campfires. It'd be fun to maybe even do a podcast around the fire. We just got to get all this stuff out there. Once the resort slows down, we could do one right out by the campfire. So what we're trying to say is, I know this podcast was just a blah, but getting right into this season, there's so many good things, and since it's officially our birthday, the next podcast in a week or so will be the beginning of season 2. And I'm hoping we start out with 1 or 2 guests and get right into some awesome new fun topics.
Yep.
And just start it out. So I appreciate everyone. Much love. Broken Line, season 1.
It's done. Wow.
It's amazing. Cool. It's cool to say. But I'm Aaron.
I'm Patrick.
And this is
The Broken Line.
Season 1 complete.
Done.
Thank you for listening to Broken Line Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.